Spirit Message Monday is about strength. And by that I mean feminine strength, not necessarily a masculine strength. And so I was thinking about this as I was coming up here to make this video. And it's after dinner, it's getting dusk-like, the light is going down. And I had a hefty meal. I was feeling quite heavy and not very inspired to come and make a video. But if I had let my masculine sense of self or essence decide what was going to happen, it would have gone along the lines of like a more rigid, sort of structured, what's the right word? I feel like, or like a rational kind of, well, you have this thing you have to do, so you must do it. So you've said you would make these Spirit Message Mondays. I decided they must be in the forest, so you must go. You must go to the forest. And so if my masculine side was in charge, that's kind of how it would roll. And I would probably begrudgingly go to the forest and be like, ugh, and, come here, but it would be beautiful, it'd be awesome. However, I recognize those thoughts within me for sure, but instead I tapped in to my intuitive essence, which I would say would be my feminine wisdom, and asked my intuition, my feminine wisdom, would it move me forward in life to come to the forest and make this video, or would it move me forward in life to stay home and make the video in the backyard, or do it another day? And my feminine intuition suggested that coming to the forest tonight would be beneficial. So in that way, like, I trust that. I trust that that's coming from less of a structured, rigid, I have to do this, I said I would, I'm gonna do this kind of thing, and more of a like, trusting in that there's probably more reasons than one of why I'm out here right now. One of them being, it's probably good to have a little walk after that heavy meal I just had. It's nice to get some fresh air. Monica, my dog, is around here somewhere. I'm not sure where. Maybe it's for her. I don't know. But I trust that wisdom that comes through me as being a softer, more gentle voice. Not necessarily a voice of reason, but kind of. It's like it comes from a place that isn't quite so driven. Like sometimes I describe my ego brain or my awareness, my mind chatter, as being like whoever's driving the bus of my brain. And so if my masculine driven side is driving the bus of the brain, I'm gonna go do this task, and then I'm gonna go do this task, and I'm gonna go do that task, and I'm gonna get all this shit done. It's gonna be great because I'm gonna get all this done, and it's gonna feel amazing because I'll feel like I've satisfied all these to-do list things and crossed all these things off my list. And here's how we're gonna do it. It's just like doot, 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 very structured and rigid and like strong. And my mind is really good at doing that. But if I were to release the grip of the need to do, of the masculine drive, and flip that around, stick the masculine in the back of the bus and allow the feminine to come in and drive, it's just different. Like, it just feels like softer, it feels more expansive. Like, there's not such a pinpointed focus on what it is that I'm supposed to do and how to do it. It's more like, well, there's this thing that we'd like you to connect with or tap into, and the essence is around being in the flavor of that rather than tending to it and getting something done. So that's the essence of how I felt coming out here and honoring that intuitive wisdom, saying, no, Dee, like, come to the forest, make your video in the forest. I'm like, okay, so here I am. And Pahia. A lot of people have been asking me questions like, okay, but how do you know it's your feminine strength or your feminine energy or your intuitive energy that is speaking to you versus your masculine energy or like the ego really wanting something? Or how can you tell the difference between your mind chatter and the like inner that's always happening and a more expansive, deeper sense of knowing? And I talked about this in one of the Message Mondays, I think the one that I was at the beach, maybe last week. I'm not sure. But essentially the difference for me is my mental chatter seems like, I mean, we all know what that sounds like or feels like. It's just like quick, one thought after the other. It feels really like kind of like watching like different channels on a TV or something. It just like do 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 do. You get like sidetracked or distracted by something, and it's just like do 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 do. It just feels very like quick and not very deep, not very reflective, not very expansive. So it's just kind of like this, not superficial, but just kind of a thinner or more focused kind of like chatter, kind of like this. It's like, and we all know what that feels like, to be stuck in our minds and we can't get out of our minds, and we're not even aware of what our body's doing or how it's feeling or whether we're hungry or not. We're just like stuck in here. And so the opposite of that being stuck, the other voice that you might be able to connect with is your intuitive nature, your feminine strength, your some people would call it like the right brain, which is more about flow and like intuition, spirit, femininity, like creating a painting just for the sake of creation, not actually specifically making a painting of a building, say. So it's just this like expressive, creative, flowy, dynamic way of being and way of thinking that, so in my experience, the opposite of the masculine, the feminine, is that thoughts, the voice in my head, so to speak, feels like it comes from a different place. Like, and I do this because it feels like it comes from a more expansive essence or energy of me. The masculine driven inside is like kind of like just contained in here. It's just like do 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 do, and this one is just more expansive, more open, more receptive to what is all around, versus just like thinking in here and inside a box. So it's almost like outside of the box versus inside the box. And the voice or the way that it feels when things come from this feminine place is that it feels less specific sometimes. It's not as driven for outcome. It's more about being rather than doing. It's like a gentle nudge in a certain way versus like being pushed. So that's the difference between the two. And so coming back to inner strength or feminine strength, if you're watching this video because you get my newsletter, the picture that I've attached to this Spirit Message Monday is my hand grasping a piece of wood on a beach, and I'm standing beside this large wooden structure, and I've got my hand grasping this wood, and that's kind of how I feel about this. It's just like a gentle holding of something instead of a gripping and needing to move it or do something with it. It's just, the strength isn't one of force and like, brute strength. It's the strength comes from the inside, not from the musculature that is driven and wants to move things. So that's what I'm sensing as I'm tapping into this for us today, this Spirit Message Monday. And I'm just going to check if there's anything else. They would like me to guide us quickly through that difference between the masculine and the feminine voice. And so if you're keen, give this a whirl. And they're saying thank you. So whoever's sticking around and gonna tap into these two voices. If you wish to close your eyes and just sometimes becoming aware of the mind shuts the mind off, or it freaks it out, so it suddenly becomes quiet, and it's super strange. If that's happening for you or to you, totally okay. But we're just going to tap into the masculine side of things for now, and just like close your eyes and allow yourself to be here. And I'm just going to guide us that what we are picking up on, what we're tapping into, what we're connecting with right now is the masculine side of ourselves, the masculine presence or essence, and even the masculine strength. And and just notice if any memories come up, or if there's any body sensations, if there's heat or coolness, if there's any visions, any words that rise up within your mind's eye or in your awareness. And for me, it's like what I'm feeling is a sense of like a quick adrenaline rush, like that strength that comes into your whole body when you're ready to fight or flee. And Tahi, it's like got very good reason, it's got very good purpose and drive, and just like it feels really solid and has a direct driven purpose. Okay, so they're saying, great, okay, now let that go, and whatever came up for you, if you want to share that with me, click reply, let me know how it goes for you, if there's anything that came up. And then we're going to switch that up and tap into the feminine side. So I'm asking all of us that we become aware within our awareness, within our mind, within our body, within our energy, of the feminine strength within us. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What are the words that come up? Any visions, any memories? And so for me, there's like this, like I said, an inner strength, like a center cord of energy, or like column of energy that feels really vibrant and fluid and dynamic in its strength. But it doesn't necessarily mean I have to be strong in my like arms and muscles. And then I also see this vision of like almost like Wonder Woman standing somewhere on this precipice, and she's got her cape kind of flowing in the wind, but she's just standing there with her cape flowing. And she might have a staff or something, and so she's like holding on to the staff, as my hand is in the picture in the newsletter that I'm sending, where it's just a graceful hold. And there's the word patience and pause come up, like inner knowing, inner feminine wisdom is knowing when to act, is knowing the greater aspect of what is happening all around us, and having an awareness of like when to engage the masculine to act on these things. And so this image of Wonder Woman standing there with her staff and just pausing and like almost like basking in the sun, just taking in the radiance of the sunshine and being there in the wind, taking in the wind, and just knowing, just a deeper sense of knowing. And she's not trying to figure anything out. She's not trying to figure shit out. She's just pausing, waiting, and knowing that the next thing, the next movement, the next action will come to her in due time. And I see the words just be, like just being instead of just doing. Tahi, 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 tahi. And when spirit moves my hand in this, for me, a counterclockwise direction, it means balance is being created. So often we need to balance the energies within us and all around us that are the feminine and the masculine, and having like a blend and a balance of both. So we're not overly masculine most of the time, or we're not overly feminine. There's this beautiful integration and blend of both. And so tahi, 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 tahi. Hopefully by watching this video and participating here, there's like a sense of releasing pieces of energy that has been stuck or blocked, or that isn't serving you anymore, that is too much or too little of either side of things, of the feminine, the masculine, and this concept of strength. And if your strength comes from a place of overly dominant masculinity, letting go of some of that, letting it burn clean and rise up like smoke and ashes just coming floating up into the sky. Tahiya. And then from the earth, I feel coming up is Mother Earth, the feminine energy coming up within our body, Tahita, to allow us to have that soft strength. And then they're saying, that is all. I guess this message is done. Okay, thanks for watching. And as always, if any of this hits home, resonates with you, if you have any experiences that you want to share with me, totally hit reply. I would love to hear it. I love hearing people's stories. So please let me know. And if that's it, then I will see you next week. Thanks, everybody.